Morning, dear students. Welcome to online classes, Mangalore University Digital Learning. Dear students, we learned about chapter first, analysis, and its major themes, its short notes in the last session. Today, we will continue our discussion with chapter 2 of the novel Animal Farm. So, in this session, we will be talking about the elaborate discussion on animal farm, especially referring with the chapter 2. See, in the last chapter, what happened? Old Major had a dream. In that dream, he had a vision. So, in order to make sure that that dream and vision of Old Major come true, what the animals need to do, they have to rebel against the human oppressors. Immediately after the chapter first, 3 nights later, Old Major dies unfortunately in his sleep. That is the misery, kind of agony, the kind of the bad news which appears suddenly among the animals. Old Major dies suddenly just after the meeting of 3 nights later, and for 3 months, see, after the death of Old Major, for about 3 months, the animals make secret preparations to carry out the old major's dying wish of wresting control of the farm from Mr. Jones. They wanted to overthrow Mr. Jones from the farm. Regarding that, all the animals worked very hard for about 3 months. They made a wonderful preparations in order to make Old Major dream comes true. See, and at the same time, the work of teaching and organizing falls to the pigs. Obviously, Old Major is also a pig, and the pigs in this novel, especially with the chapter first and the chapter second and the entire novel, they are considered as an intelligent animals, very incredible animals. They have known for their intelligence, so that the work of teaching and organizing these two important duties and responsibilities fall on the pigs. Among them, the cleverest of the animals, especially, are pigs, and especially to the two pigs named Napoleon and Snowball. Napoleon and Snowball, they are considered as a very cleverest animals among all animals. Obviously, organizing and teaching and molding all animals, the responsibility will be going on Napoleon and Snowball. For this, together with a silver-tongued pig named Squealer, just you have to notice this character, very hypocritical character, and the kind of character where you could witness lot of things are happening inside the novel. Squealer, they formulate the principles of a philosophy called animalism. They finally formed a kind of a philosophy that is called animalism. Animalism means where animals should be free to express their thoughts, views, and their opinions. So that they formed philosophy called animals under the leadership of Snowball, Napoleon, and Wheeler. Some matters, the fundamentals of which they spread among the other animals. They spread some important message to the other animals to carry out in order to take away the human beings from the farm. The animals call one another as comrade. See, now the animals are called as comrades and take their quandaries to the pigs. Whatever the issues the animals are facing inside this chapter, they have to come before the pigs, and their issues and the problems will be solved by the pigs, especially Napoleon and Snowball, who answer their questions about the impending rebellion. The rebellion they kept inside their mind. That is the important concept you have to think, you have to notice. Due to that rebellion, whatever the issue which is faced by the animals, they will be coming to the pigs and be followed by them. At first, many of the animals find the principles of animalism difficult to understand. At the very beginning part of the rebellion, some animals did not understand what actually their motto and the principles, so that they have grown up believing that Mr. Jones is their proper master. See, some of the animals, they have diverted their mindset. They still believe that their owner is Mr. Jones. They have to follow the words of the Mr. Jones. And Molly, a vain carriage horse, see there, Molly, it is a vain carriage horse, expresses particular concern over whether she will be able to continue to enjoy the little luxuries like eating sugar and wearing ribbons in the new utopia. See, the animals have a dream about the utopia where all the animals should be free and express their freedom. So Molly has a doubt whether she will be able to enjoy the same kind of luxuries like eating sugar as well as wearing ribbons in the upcoming utopia. So that Snowball answers pretty clearly that sternly reminds her that ribbons symbolizes slavery. See, the ribbons symbolize the concept of slavery, so that in the animal form utopia they would be have to be abolished. The slavery should be abolished. The clutchery of the animals should be abolished, and no animal is able to wear any kind of ribbons like what Molly is wearing inside the novel. So Molly finally half-heartedly agrees to the convince of Snowball. The pig's most troublesome opponent proves to be Moses, the raven. See there, among all pigs, Moses, the raven, he is proven to be a most troublesome pig. Why? There is a reason behind it. Moses always flies about spreading tales of a place called Sugar Candy Mountain. This is very important. The pig called Moses, it is spreading a message and a tale. It's a kind of a story to all the animals where the concept of Sugar Candy Mountain. See, where in the Sugar Candy Mountain, where all animals go when they die soon after. See, when the animals die soon after, they will go to the Sugar Candy Mountain, the place of great pleasure. That is a place of greatest pleasure, and the animal can feel. They will be feeling happily, and they will be having plenty of space to express their views after their death, where sugar grows on the hedges. See, in the edges of that sugar candy mountain, you will have a look at the sugar that will be grown. And even though many of the animals despise the talkative and idle Moses, they see some animals believe the words of the Moses, and some animals they don't believe the idle concept of and the talkative notion of the Moses. They nevertheless find great appeal in the idea of sugar candy mountain. The pigs work very hard to convince the other animals. See, some other animals they are spreading the rumors throughout the farm in order to divert the concentration of the animals, whereas the pigs, so-called the intelligent animals, very intellectual, so they are working very hard in order to convince the other animals of the falsehood of the Moses teaching. See, there is a treachery, there is a behind message is there in the words of Moses. You just believe on the words of the Moses they used to carry out. So that thanks to the help of the slow witted but loyal cart horses, especially the loyalty which always there with the horses like boxer and clover. They are the most loyal animals inside the animal farm. They are helping out in order to carry the positive notions among the animals, where Moses is diverting the animals notion. The pigs eventually manage to prime the animals for revolution. See, the pigs are always there in order to motivate the other animals, the concept of revolution, rebellion, and up against human beings. They wanted to take out the human beings in the farm. That is what they are working on it. The rebellion occurs much earlier than anyone expected and comes off with shocking ease. See, much awaited rebellion has occurred soon. Nobody has expected by this much early the rebellion should be happened in the animal farm. And Mr. Jones finally has been driven to drink after losing money in a lawsuit. See, he has lost some money in the lawsuit, so he has drunken throat full of drinks, and he has let his men become lazy, dishonest, and neglectful. He completely lets his men to become a lazy personality, dishonest, and neglectful. He does not bother about any other concepts which are working there. One day, Mr. Jones goes on a drinking binge. He was drunken full and drinking alcohol and forgets to feed the animals. He completely forgets himself, and he went on sleeping, had a throat full of drink, alcohol. He forgets to feed the animals. See, unable to bear their hunger. See, by that time, what happened when Mr. Jones did not feed the animals properly, the animals were waiting for this kind of an opportunity. They were treated by the Mr. Jones. Some animals, they did not bear their hunger, especially the cows. The cows break into the store shed, and the animals begin to eat. See, finally, the cows break the boundaries as well as the chains and their cow shed, and they came out of the cow shed, and they decided to eat whatever they wanted to eat. Mr. Jones and his men discover the transgression and begin to whip the cows. See, by looking at this, see, when the cows came out from the cow shed, that was seen by Mr. Jones and his men. They were about to charge the animals. I mean, whip the animals. They were treated the cows and beaten them black and blue, and spurred to anger, the animals turned on them in order to take a revenge against Mr. Jones and his men. The cows decided to turn against the men and attack on them, and easily chase them from the farm. The cows finally could manage to chase Mr. Jones and his men. They finally succeeded in their attempt. Astonished by their success, all the animals are so happy by the success what they got at that moment. The animals hurry to destroy the last remaining evidence of their subservience. Finally, all animals gathered together, and they destroyed the last subservience of the man, whichever whatever left inside the animal farm. By that, they are feeling like an enjoyment, and the concept of liberty they are feeling right now. The animals enjoy a double ration of corn and sing beasts of England 7 times through until it is time to sleep. 7 times continuously they are singing this song that is called Beasts of England. All animals are enjoying the freedom by singing the song of Beasts of England. In the morning, they admire the farm from a high knoll before exploring the farmhouse. See, all of them they admire with each other. All the animals, you know, just their rebellion was success, their plan was success, their notion was success, Their attempt was success in order to throw, in order to throw the human beings out of the farm. So where they stare in stunned silent at the unbelievable luxuries within. All the animals, they are feeling the kind of an unbelievable luxuries they are having. The group agrees to preserve the farmhouse as a museum. Finally, all the animals in their group, they agrees. They decided to preserve the farmhouse as a museum with the stipulation that no animal may ever live in it. Finally, they came into the conclusion that they have to preserve the farmhouse, where they will keep the farmhouse as a museum and no animal ever live in it. See, with this, their rebellion was success. Their concept of a rebellious nature, with the presence of the uh, intelligent animals like Napoleon, Snowball, and some extent Squealer. All the animals, I mean especially the pigs, guided the other animals. They finally managed to throw the human beings away from the farm. They finally named the manor farm into the animal farm. That is what you have to observe inside the novel very carefully. In the second chapter itself, they could manage to keep out the human beings out of the farm, and they had a kind of a freedom, they had a kind of an enjoyment. They will be, they will be living in a kind of a society where European people are enjoying their rights, their views, their freedom, their concept of expression. Everything will be there in that animal farm. Finally, then they changed the manor farm into the animal farm. They changed the board. With this, they got the kind of a first success into the concept of animal farm. See, in this concept, I mean, in this chapter, especially the second chapter, we will be talking about the greed and the principles of animalism and the propaganda, which is always carried with the character of Spieler, and ruling by fear. I know, ruling by fear, I mean, this is where you can observe the concept of Mr. Jones is always having a kind of a fear when the animals are up against the human beings. When he had drunken, he was in his sleep, and all animals got that opportunity, make use of that opportunity, and the cows could able to manage to cross the cow shed as well as bars, and they ate whatever they wanted to eat. By that, their rebellion was going to be success at that particular moment. And the power that corrupts, this is where we have to look at the important concept. Once a person who is having a power on his name, obviously that leads him to corrupt the society. So with this, in the second chapter, we clearly notice that there are some wonderful drastic changes you can see inside the novel. Old Major's dream comes true, and hypocritical, cruel nature of Mr. Jones was come to an end, and the animals, the long awaited freedom was going to be happened with their rebellious nature. And finally, the most important event which was occurred inside the novel, that is manor farm, which was changed into animal farm. See, the pigs reveal to the other animals that they have taught themselves how to read. See, the pigs, they reveal the secret before the animals. They taught themselves in order to read and write before the other animals. And Snowball replaces the inscription. See, look at that. The Snowball finally replaces the inscription that is there on the entrance of the animal farm, that is manor farm. Earlier, before the begin of the chapter second, at the end of the chapter second, on the front gate, the words you can see, animal form. Man or form is changed into animal form, where they will achieve the freedom, where they will feel the freedom, where they will feel the liberty. They can eat whatever they want to eat, and they will be working very hard in order to, get the success. Mutual work is needed. So Snowball and Napoleon, having reduced the principles of animalism, both Snowball and Napoleon now, at the end of this chapter, they have reduced the principles of animalism to 7 key commandments. This is very important. You have to notice, my dear friends. 7 key commandments are the principles which are, prescribed by Snowball and Napoleon. So they paint the same 7 commandments on the side of the big barn. By looking at the 7 commandments, all the animals, they will realize their duties, they will realize their limitations, they will enjoy the freedom, and they will enjoy the liberty. They will feel happy without having any interruptions of human beings. So that this is where we can understand the Russian Revolution, how the Russian Revolution had taken place with the rebellious nature of working class, as well as middle class people. They were up against the ruling class, and soon after the completion of that Russian Revolution, Stalin came into act as a communist leader. Again, some of the most important figures of the Russian Revolution you can notice. Lenin, for example, Tsar second, the last Tsar of Tsar's family, Tsar second, Marx, Karl Marx, Lenin, Stalin, and these are all the characters will be occurring through the figurative concepts of animal form, like Snowball, for example, and Napoleon, for example, Wheeler, for example, Old Major, for example, and Moses, for example. So some of the other animals are also a clear representation of the Russian revolutionaries, and you can have a comparison of the characters and the comparison of the themes of this novel with the Russian Revolution. There will be a questions on these themes, and short notes about Napoleon, short notes about Old Major, short notes about Mr. Jones, short notes about Wheeler, and short notes about Moses, short note about Boxer. So these are all the things you have to notice inside the novel, and the themes you have to understand: the propaganda and the political tyranny and the corruption of politics. Those are all the themes you have to observe in the chapter second. So with this, I will conclude my discussion of this session. Rest of the things we will discuss in the next session. Thank you very much. Happy reading. Stay safe.